we are in an election year. Yay! We are in an election year. So for the balance of our time, let's just get very practical on how to give to Caesar what's Caesar's and to God what's God's. And here's kind of how I approach voting. I hope you find something helpful and useful for you, because it takes this idea of distinguishing between what is Caesar and what is God's as you approach the ballot box this fall, okay? Here's step one. Identify the character qualities of a candidate you would support. Now, throw this election out for a minute. Throw the current slate of candidates out. Step away from election mindset and just think to yourself, what are the character qualities of good leaders, of wise leaders, of effective leaders? Think about your parents, bosses you've had, a current boss, coaches, teachers, anyone whose leadership you've been under. What made the good ones good? What made the bad ones bad? What character qualities do you see emerge from all of these experiences that you've had, okay? You should have a list separate from, you should have this just for finding your next job, separate from any election. What are the character qualities of a great leader that you would support, okay? Now, populate that list. And after you do, the second step is, how many of these are biblical characters? How many of these qualities are ones that Jesus displayed? No one was a better leader than Jesus. No one. How many of my preferred qualities line up with what the King of heaven and earth has as his character qualities? Okay? So get your list of character qualities. Second, identify the critical political positions of a candidate you would support. Okay, what matters to you politically? Okay, some things are the realm of Caesar. Preserving orderly society, that belongs to governing authorities. So when it comes to the topic of preserving society, orderly society, what are the political positions that matter to you? And once you identify them, now you have to go a layer deeper. What's behind that? Okay, let me just give you an example if I haven't offended everyone yet. Here we go. One of the factors this election cycle that matters to voters is border security. Would you agree with that? That matters to voters this election cycle. If that's on your list, or somebody's list, the question is why? What is it about border security that's important to you? Is it you believe there's economic implications of that? Another person might believe there's safety reasons for that. Another might assume it's cultural reasons, okay? So don't just go with the issue of the day. What's the underlying principle that matters to you? Mine down. Find out what that is. Or is it just because a whole bunch of loudmouth politicians said this is what should matter to you this season, so you did? Go along with it. Come on, think. What actually matters to you politically? You should have your list. And then, again, separate from the current candidates, just have your list of what matters. And once you have your list, then do the second level of work of how many of these issues align with biblical principles. Okay, so you've got your two lists, character qualities, political issues that actually matter to you. And with these two lists, you march to the ballot box and you realize something. Unless you're running, nobody's going to fulfill your list, okay? Right? That's what's so frustrating about voting. Nobody's going to be rarely will someone be the perfect match. So if you find yourself in a situation where you're like, I feel like I'm going to be compromising something one way or the other, that's almost unavoidable, right? And that is frustrating. If you find yourself in that situation, here's some wisdom to keep in mind. When voting between the lesser of two evils, don't tie your reputation to a candidate you identify as evil. Go ahead, cast your vote. But do you really want to do something in your conduct that ties your personal reputation to the reputation of a candidate that you acknowledge is flawed? Be very careful about unnecessarily compromising your influence, and here's the reason why. You were made in God's image. Give to Caesar what is Caesar's. If his image is on the coin, give it back to him. God's image is on you. And while the government has a very important role in society, it's not as important as the role that Jesus gave you, his church. You are the salt of the earth. You are the light of the world. You are the preservative. You are the ones. We, as his people, are the ones who are to show the way to Jesus. And if it bothers you more that someone votes for the other candidate than it does that someone is going to hell, you have given to Caesar what is God's. You have gotten all tangled up in something that won't even matter after 4 years with something that will still be relevant in 1,000,000 years, someone's eternal destination. Don't give away your influence unnecessarily. Use it to influence people to see our true King, Jesus. So be wise about tying your personal reputation to a candidate. And go ahead. There's no perfect candidate probably for you. Just cast the vote the way that best matches your two lists. But don't sacrifice your reputation for someone you think is flawed.
Hey everyone, thank you so much for checking out that last clip. My name is James and I serve as the Digital Media Director at Hope Church. If you're interested in exploring more about this topic, just click the link down in the description. But we also wanted to take some time to personally invite you to come join us for our next live stream that's going to happen right here on YouTube starting at 8:25 a.m. Central. You'll be welcomed by our on-air host who will guide you through that day's experience. We have chat hosts ready to answer any questions that you might have, and we would just love for you to come be a part of our growing online community. But the real highlight is that we get a chance to meet you. So if you're interested in joining us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way you'll get notified when we go live this Sunday. I cannot wait to hang out with you, and we'll see you there.